I'm going to talk to you about building a sales and service culture. And, there's a lot of information. I was talking with my partner in crime, Les Hudson, back there. There's been a lot of information to try to digest, and some of you even are shutting your eyes right now, so I know I might lose you. So I'm going to try to be lively and peppy and have some fun as we go along. But since I'm a real guy and you guys are probably tired and in the day, I could probably say that I could save you some time by just saying that, and summing this up really in just a few words. Get off the pot. Get off the pot. That's right. Get engaged, get excited, serve your people, be with your people, right? And spend time with the teams. I talk about getting off the pot because there's a story that I love that talks about progressionary caterpillars. Exciting topic, right? Okay, so these caterpillars are in this experiment, and they're on a clay pot. A scientist has lined them around the rim, tail to head, completely around this pot, and they're going around and around and around in lockstep on this clay pot, day after day after day. What do you think happens to them? Anybody? Nobody knows? Yes, they starve to death. But the food is right there in the middle of this pot if they would have only gotten off the pot. So my belief is that everything you need to build a sales and service culture is right there in the middle, right there. But I'm not going to stop there because, you paid good money, I'm sure. And so I'm going to get into talking a little bit about highlights. I don't want to bore you to death about the history of the company, but I will tell you that Gary and Caroline Myers started Highlights back in 1946 at the age of retirement. They were actually getting ready to retire. And they believed that children were the world's most important people. And so they founded this magazine. And since then, that enthusiasm, that passion, that charisma has grown Highlights for Children into a giant player in the children's education industry. And so we have different magazines, numerous book clubs, catalog merchandise, even apps now. And so I was out talking to someone earlier, and they said, oh, Highlights is still around, which is something you don't want to hear, right? But I said, yeah, we're still around. We even have an app. So that's our claim to fame as of late. But we're also international, and we've just recently gotten into the retail space in Target and Michaels. So we're growing, and it's because of these two people, their dream, and their care for children. From our magazine to trade books and textbook publishers to providers of educational seminars for teachers, everyone has made a significant contribution to the education of children everywhere within the Highlights organization. And I'm happy to share just a few minutes with you about what we've done at Highlights. But before I do, you know how parents, when they have a newborn, that new child, even a new dog in this age, they want to show you a picture, and you're supposed to look at it and you're supposed to be like, oh, that's nice, and it's the most beautiful baby you ever seen. That's it. This is our newest baby. It's Highlights Hello, and it's geared for children ages 0 to 2. And you might say, wow, why are you giving a magazine to kids 0 to 2, right? The Zappo folks are wondering. So, you know what? It enhances the parent-child bond, and we have had a great response so far. We just launched this late last year, and it is washable. We even put it in the dishwasher. It's drool-proof. The child can chew on it. It has a threaded binding, so there's no staples for anyone to get hurt on. Doesn't taste so well when you chew on it, but I mean, we've done everything to take a look at this book, but it's great. And I didn't hear any oohs and ahs, but we can save that for later. So that's our new baby. And I can tell you're all, really excited. So I'm going to make you do something that speakers do sometimes. Everybody, please stand up, because we got to get some energy. I'm going down in flames, so we got to get some energy going here, right? So here's what I want you to do. I want you to start your hands over here like this, And you see those words up on the screen there? I want you to say that with me, and we're just going to go like this. And you'll be amazed at what's going to happen. Ready? If you act enthusiastic, you will be enthusiastic. If you act enthusiastic, you will be enthusiastic. Okay, sit down. You worked hard. I don't want to overtire you too much. So you know what's crazy about what we just did there? When I told you were going to have to get up, if you could be up here and you saw through my eyes what you were going to have to do, everybody was like, oh gosh, what's this guy going to do? What's he going to make me do? But as soon as you started doing it, you smiled. Everybody here smiled. Enthusiasm is contagious. I want to give you just a little look into our culture. And the best way to do that, my AV guy in the back told me, I said, don't fall asleep on me. And he said, don't be boring, and I won't. So he's awake. He's going to play this video for you. So we'll just take a minute and watch this.
Everything is in its place, and I can't stop the smile on my face, 'cause I'm happy in this place. And all of my friends are in this place, and I can't stop the smile on my face, 'cause I'm happier in this place. 1, 2, 3, so smile, smile all my friends, you're in a happy place, so smile, smile all my friends. Come on, smile, smile all my friends, you're in a happy place. Come on, smile, smile all my friends. Well, I'm feeling bright and I'm feeling good. I thought that I might, but you knew that I would, 'cause I'm happy in this place. And I wanna dance, I wanna smile, I take a chance and stay for a while, 'cause I'm happy in this place. 1, 2, 3, so smile, smile all my friends, you're in a happy place, so smile, smile all my friends. Come on, smile, smile all my friends, you're in a happy place. Come on, smile, smile all my friends. Everything is in its place, and I can't stop the smile on my face, 'cause I'm happy in this place. 1, 2, 3, so smile, smile all my friends, you're in a happy place, so smile, smile all my friends. Come on, smile, smile all my friends, you're in a happy place. Come on, smile, smile all my friends. Well, everything is in its place, and I can't stop the smile on my face, 'cause I'm happy in this place. And all of my friends are in this place, and I can't stop the smile on my face.
So that's a little bit of a peek into our culture. And as Ricky Ricardo would say, Lucy, you have some explaining to do, right? So there's some explaining to do. We actually do work. We don't just have fun all the time, but most of the time we do. And that's really the key to building a culture, just like our friends from Zappos said. So I would tell you that Jake Poor from Disney probably resonated with me the most and said it the best when he said, to get started, enter on the human. And I like to say, get to know the people. So what we did in the beginning when we were trying to revitalize our contact center operations was to meet with the people and spend 5 or 10 minutes just talking with them. And that might sound like, wow, how do I have the time to do that? How would I fit that in my day? But we did that. I did that personally with every single person on the contact center team, both at our operations in Columbus and in Des Moines as well. And so it did take a lot of time. A favorite quote of mine is, people don't care how much you know, until they know how much you care. And that's a great place to start. We're all human, right? Sometimes we forget that. So engage the team as people first before asking them to pledge their allegiance to you, a cause, a goal, anything. Engage them first. And for those of you that get a little tongue-tied with what to say with those folks, here's 3 questions. What are we doing well? Where do we need to improve? And here's one that people don't ask very often is, how can I help you take the next step in your career here? So we ask those questions for lots of reasons, to find out what's broken, to fix processes, or just to be informed. But mostly it's to get people engaged and show them that we care. And that's what we're trying to do when we build the dream team, which is what we have. So when we're building a team, obviously we have to evaluate the people that we're hiring. And we started out by looking at our front door and saying, what do they see when they come in? What is their experience like? What would it be like to be a potential candidate for us? Are we all stone-faced and groggy? Do we look like we're a great environment? Do we look like we're going to have fun? Do we look like, somebody they would want to work for? So we took a strong look at that. We looked also at our staffing company that we use as well and what that environment was like. We switched staffing companies. And we really worked on trying to determine who was a good fit for us. And what we found was that we wanted people who were characters. And, people who had emotions, people who could become engaged. That didn't necessarily mean somebody who was dressed up nice for the interview. They could have piercings, they could have tattoos. I didn't really care as long as they, were somebody that could feel an emotion. And believe it or not, people are not engaged. If you look what goes on out here in this conference that we've had, there's people that don't want to talk to each other. There's people that walk away, people that won't answer a question. People just sometimes have trouble getting engaged. So we try to root that out in the interview process by asking people certain questions. And we also use scenarios. So one of the ones we use is Johnny at the mailbox. And so we tell this story that a grandmother has called in and she bought this subscription for her grandson, and he's waiting for it and he keeps going to the mailbox, and she's afraid he's not going to get it, and if he doesn't get it in time for his birthday or Christmas, whatever it was, I can't remember, I think it was birthday now that I think about it, if he doesn't get it, he's going to be disappointed he doesn't have it, but he's also going to think Grandma failed him, right? And so he calls her and he's crying and he's really upset and he's like, Grandma, where is my magazine? And so the rep on the phone, or what we call service and sales associates on the phone, actually takes that call and gets it. And how do they respond? Name, account number, address. They immediately go into a troubleshooting mode and try to fix the problem instead of connecting. So what we want to hear is the person that we're interviewing say, oh, no. We want to see some kind of emotion. We want to see that they're connected in an interview. We do this with several different scenarios. That's just one of them that we do. And we, of course, use behavioral-based questions versus just give me a bunch of adjectives about how great you are. We ask them to recall a time when. Tell me about an experience you've had when, so that we can look at that and just, ascertain whether or not they have the skill sets that we're looking for. So equally important in building the culture is the sales aspect of it. So we also ask them to sell something in the interview. And so one of my favorite things to ask them to sell is my letter opener on my desk. It's made of Connemara marble from Ireland, and it looks very nice. My wife brought it back for me. And unfortunately, I'm getting older, and the workforce is younger that I'm hiring. And believe it or not, a lot of people don't know how to sell, but they don't know what a letter opener is. I guess they don't get mail and they've never used it. So it's kind of an interesting item to hand to someone and say, sell this to me. And they're like, what is that? So we're looking there in the interview, first of all, to see if they're comfortable with the selling aspect. Can they think on their feet? Can they think what the value might be for the customer of this? And how do they close the sale? So that's super important to us, the selling aspect of it. We also want to share the blueprints with our folks and tell them what we're making. What is it that we're trying to make this great team into? We try to paint the picture and explain the why. And for us, 5 years ago, what it was, and it's still to this day, was to create world-class customer service and to help children become their best selves. And that was the goal of the company. Our folks, just like our kids, say, are we there yet? Are we there yet? I mean, how many people have kids out there? Okay, not all of you. How many were kids at one time? Oh, okay, good. So kids ask that, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? And so we share where we're at along this journey, and we set goals, and we communicate those goals and let them know where we are at as far as call center health goes. How healthy is our call center based on the goals that we're wanting to try to achieve, and we keep that at the forefront of everything. And we have a wall of metrics in the call center where they can see at any time where we're at along that journey. Because, having goals and making it visible is very important. A story that I like to tell when I'm talking with a service and sales associate is, how are you performing in relation to your goal? And believe it or not, even with that much telling and sharing the information, they may not know. And so I say to them, okay, I've got $50 right here. Can you hit that target for me? What target? The one over your right shoulder on my wall. Where's it at? Exactly. You need to know where your goal is at. You need to be able to visualize your goal in order to hit it. You can't even begin to hit it unless you know where that goal's at. So we talk a lot about goal setting, and equally important as well is structure. So we say give them stones or set flags. And when I say stones, I mean milestones, of course. We set weekly, daily, monthly milestones. We put charts up on their cubicle wall that help them with whatever they're struggling with, whether it's creating raving fans or whatever the topic is. We try to chart some kind of growth for them so that they can see what that looks like. And when we say set flags, there's a story about a farmer who set flags in his field in order to improve the pick rate. He was having trouble. The workers day after day were not, picking the crops that he wanted picked in a timely fashion. And so he decided that what he was going to do was, in order to give them a sense of accomplishment, was to place a flag in the field and say, by lunchtime, if you get to this flag, there's going to be, cherry cobbler. I mean, who wouldn't work hard for that, right? So he set a visible flag for them to see, and we do the same thing with the milestones and the goals. We also talk about WIFM. How many people remember what WIFM is? Probably a few people. What's in it for me? And so we do month-end reviews with our folks every month, and we show them where they're at. Those month-end reviews roll up to an annual review, and that annual review obviously is the raise. And so we say, here's what's in it for you. Not only are you having a great time, you're working with a good bunch of people, but you're also going to earn a raise if you do well. So we're trying to communicate that all the while through these month-end reviews. We also talk about career advancement in these sessions as well. We think that that opportunity to sit down and talk with them is super important, as well as building teamwork, and we do that through sharing with them their contribution to their individualized teams. So in the beginning, we were very siloed, where we had different 800 numbers for everything. And we knocked those silos down, and now we have full service. So a customer who's calling in about a magazine, or a customer who's calling in about a book club or a piece of merchandise, that one person can handle that call no matter what. And so we squashed those silos, and in doing that, we had to create teamwork to do it. And so we show them what their contribution is to each line of the business. And again, through this wall of metrics, they can see that. So lastly, I'll say about setting structure. I want our leaders spending 80% of the time with the folks. And so when we're trying to hire leaders, we are wanting people who want to spend time with their folks. And managing by walking around is something that we talk about a lot. We want the people to walk around, the leaders to walk around. They learn more about the people. They learn more about what's going on. They learn more about their work ethic. They learn more about how they're utilizing the system, how they're navigating through the system, all by walking around and taking a little bit of time to interact with the people. And we've even done floor walking schedules during peak seasons so that people would be out among, the folks on the front lines. So it's worked out pretty good during the Christmas season. So, what do I want to talk about next? Pizza. No, not really. Not really at all. But what I'm trying to do is to get you set up here to talk to you about setting up the lemonade stand. So getting you ready to sell. Would you buy something from that kid? Probably, right? He's a pretty good looking kid. I mean, and not only that, but he's got, a nice presentation there. He's got, looks like a nice piping hot pizza, right? He's got his duds together. He's pretty smart. Looks like a nice apron, a little nice hat. So, I'd have to say he's pretty good looking kid. And, it could be because he's my kid. Yeah, look at that. That's pretty good. That's service right there. He's being trained for service. Except he's telling the customer to wait 1 minute. Oh, what a good look. Oh. Thanks, Les. So I got to make that up to you, I guess, because I kind of digressed there. So here's what we're going to do. How many people know about hidden pictures? Right? Highlights hidden pictures. It's kind of a staple of the magazine. So this is my son, Jack, and he's sprinkled throughout the rest of this presentation. And so if you see him, here's what I'd like for you to do. And this is going to be good because there's not very many people here, so probably a lot of you are going to win. My partner in crime, Les Hudson's going to be listening and watching. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to stand up, and don't do this at the airport, by the way, or in a plane, but I want you to yell, "Hi, Jack." Okay? So if you see his picture, do that for me, okay? And then you'll win a prize. Okay, so let's talk about setting up the lemonade stand. We feel like it's about the presentation. When a little kid sets up a lemonade stand, I can hardly pass it up. I mean, I never really drink the lemonade because I'm a bit of a germ freak, but, they got the lemonade stand there, they got the face on and all that. It's really all about that presentation. We use fresh lemons, look how it's nice and cold, it's a hot day. It is about the presentation, and we had to change our mindset on a couple of different things. One was how we valued our employees, and so we changed their title from customer service rep to service and sales associate, like I alluded to before, and that immediately gave them a different sense of what their role in the organization was. You're supposed to supply service, and in the beginning we said sales and service, and then almost right out of the gate we changed it to service and sales. And so that's what we refer to them now as service and sales. And even our business-to-business customer service team, we call them service and sales liaisons. And that looks better on a resume, and it makes them, in some of the discussions we had with them in the beginning, the folks said, well, I'm just a customer service rep. I'm just a rep. And that even tied into what we felt we were hearing was that they were just an order taker. That's really what their job was, is either to cancel an order, take an order, answer a billing question. It was just a job. So we changed the title, and we talked about the presentation not only to them, but also when they talked with the customer. Have you ever dissected that customer, what it really means? I mean, we tried a couple times today, but I'm thinking, I didn't think we really, nailed it. Think about a rep, service and sales liaison. 27 years, it's hard to get that vernacular change. Think about a person on the phone day in and day out talking to people who are in good moods, bad moods, intermediate moods, just whatever, call after call after call after call. And we've got this conference, and we've got this huge industry called customer experience, and we expect them for a lower wage than, most, to treat our customers the best, right? But if you dissect that word and you think about being on that phone, call after call after call, And we tell them we need them to do the Magna-Doodle wipe. Anybody know what a Magna-Doodle is? You draw on it and then you slide the thing over and it erases what you've written. Well, we say that's what you've got to do. You can't let that bad attitude from that customer carry over to the next call. So we say just wipe that slate clean and just get right on down the road. Really easy to say. But if you take customer and dissect it, you know what it means to a rep? Cuss to me. Arrgh. That's really what it means. Cuss to me. They're looking at their job like, wow, I'm going to be complained at all day long. So we have to change that mindset. And we do that in many ways. One of the ways is to say, you have the opportunity to make someone's day, those few minutes that you talk to them, a little bit better. And we share some of the stories that customers tell us through a Voice of the Customer database that we maintain. And it's up to the representatives to put this information into the database about maybe a great outcome, a raving fan, or maybe a not so great experience. Maybe our magazine was missing pages, or maybe the staple was up and a child got hurt on it, or whatever the case. We share these stories to let them know how they're impacting the company. Their job is so important, so important. So we completely and utterly almost go overboard in trying to reiterate that with the representatives and letting them, know how important their job is. When we're talking about creating this lemonade stand, we tell them to treat the customer like your friend. We do consultative selling. We don't do any high-pressure sales, no rebuttals, nothing like that. We just want them to treat them like their friend and say, just like if you went up to the corner and saw gasoline for $1 a gallon, first of all, you'd probably lose your mind. But if you saw that, you would just phone your friend probably, or somebody, your loved one, husband, spouse, whatever, and say, you got to get in on that. You don't want to miss out. So we, tell our folks to treat them like a friend. And for those folks who say, I wasn't hired to sell, I'm doing customer service, we have intensive training that we do for selling, and we teach all the different sales techniques, and we talk about the psychology of selling and that kind of thing. And we say, keep this in mind. SW, 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 SW. Some will buy, some won't. So what? Someone else is waiting. So we try to make the whole sales, experience for our representatives be an experience that is just a friendly exchange of information about our products, and a friendly exchange of, hey, don't know if you knew that we had this product, but we do, and it might help you. We talk about selling in all kinds of weather. So one of the things we have this inherent nature to do is to decide who does or doesn't want to buy from us. And that's a fact of life in a lot of different things besides selling. But if a customer calls in and says to us, hey, things are a little tight right now, I can't buy, want to cancel my subscription, or I want to cancel the book club or whatever, immediately you're thinking, well, I'm not going to offer anything to this person because they're canceling. It would be stupid of me to do that. And we say, don't set a mental spending limit for the customer. Let them decide. Just simply put it out there and let them make the decision. Now, some of you might think, well, that's still kind of silly because that customer, in fact, somebody earlier today said, I don't want anybody selling anything to me if you didn't solve the reason for my problem. But we tell the customer service folks, you are empowered to solve the problem. We have a 100% satisfaction guarantee. So do whatever it takes, solve the problem. And after you've solved it and you've won a customer for life, then tell them about a product and see if they want to buy. So it's really kind of a laid-back sales approach, but we say sell in all kinds of weather. So the main goal, obviously, is to create a great experience, right? And to create this wow that we've talked about before, or a raving fans mindset. And we know that raving fans are people that what? Rave, right? People who love us, and that it's valuable to have people be a customer advocate for you and use social media and talk about you and tell their friends, and word of mouth. We've talked a little bit about that here today. Is important. We share the Raving Fans book by Bowles and Blanchard, and we also share a book called Give 'Em the Pickle. Anybody heard of that book? Yeah, I love that book. we share both of those stories right in the beginning when they're a new hire, to try to tell them what our customer service philosophy is. We also share Secret Service by John DeJulius, great book if you haven't read it. So we're using outside sources as well to try to shape the culture and tell the folks, what we believe customer service to be, and to cement in their minds that we want loyal fans. We also let them hear it from other folks, not just us, because for those of you that have kids know that you can say something to your child over and over and over and they don't believe you, but they hear it from somebody else and it's gospel. So we let them hear it from their peers. We have team captains that we let them sit with, but we also maintain a best practice library of digitally recorded calls. The representatives can tag the call that, hey, this was a great call, or wow, this is a call where you probably wouldn't have thought that I should have sold on it, but I did. And so then we can play those types of calls back for folks who are struggling, either with service, sales, maybe it's just tone, maybe it's volume, rate of speech, whatever it is. This best practice library we can use to create raving fans by playing it back, and we've had good results in doing that. And I talked about the Voice of the Customer program a little bit earlier, but that for us, we launched that about 4 years ago, and that's been pivotal in uncovering issues. And it's simply a very basic application that our developers put together in-house, and we capture certain pieces of information, and then we can feed it to marketing and operations and let them know what's going on, what the customer is saying. And we also share a report weekly and monthly that lists everybody who called in that the service and sales associates thought was something very significant, might change a work process, might change the way we do business, whatever it was. And we share that so that people can drive that through the organization from the vice president level down to the lowest person in the building. And we share that on the intranet as well. So we want our folks on the front lines talking to the customers, loving the customers, taking care of them. And since I said love, something we love to do is celebrate. Okay, Lester, you got your work cut out for you. As I said before, enthusiasm is contagious, right? So why celebrate? Because the people that we lead need to see that we're human, that we're having fun, that we can have a good time. It's good for them. Laughter is contagious. There's also a great return on investment in celebrating. It does take time. One of the questions when I talk about this is, how much does it cost? You're doing all this stuff and you're celebrating, doing all these different things, but how much does it cost? And the biggest cost really is time. The biggest cost is time. So I'm getting a sign in the back, but I don't have my glasses on. 5 minutes? Okay, good. So the time is an investment, but we think it's well worthwhile. We think it's really well worthwhile. And the biggest thing that we get from investing the time and celebrating is when we have these meetings and we have a monthly recognition meeting and we go all out for them, we are sharing the behavior that we want others to emulate. And then someone can say, oh, this person got an award for this person got an award for that. And they can say, that's what I'm supposed to do. That's how I'm supposed to act. And so we share those stories. It also, lets us just feel good in general, and to let people know what our accomplishments are throughout the company. So some of the things that we do for rewards and recognition, really based on communication. We communicate in a lot of different ways. We do it through monthly meetings, through the recognition meeting. We do it through weekly huddles. We do it through town hall meetings. We do employee surveys. We hold focus groups. We even established a culture club. We copied that off of somebody. But we have a culture club, and they handle all different kinds of things and events, and they conduct mixers, and they just do a big kind of like welcoming thing to our folks, get them to know each other, get them to experience a really good time. Customer Service Week is big for us as well. During Customer Service Week, we do all kinds of crazy things, pies in the face, and I'd get my head shaved, but it wouldn't really matter, so they didn't really want to do that one. But we also have different awards, like the Caught in the Act of Doing Good award, a Smiling H award, which is based on our H in the magazine, and they can get an award if they accumulate so many happy faces on this H. We do a Random Act of Kindness award, the Raving Fan award, of course, MVP top seller, things like that, more traditional. Extraordinary Customer Service award. We do a lot of spot awards, like cards and thank you cards and notes, and when we hire them in, we find out what their favorite candy is and what their favorite soft drink is and what kind of music they like, and we might just surprise them with any of those things on a day where they're not feeling so great or they're down or what have you. So, sales contests. One of our best sales contests is Go for No, to help people get over that fear of getting rejected. The no is, every no you get something for that, or you can do a bingo with no's, and you will, encourage the people not to be afraid of getting those no's. So we have, 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 no's, and eventually that's going to turn into a yes. And we do some of those other contests on there that I can talk to you about at another time, since we're running out of time. Oh. So we also use these tools, which you guys probably use some of these, but we have basketballs with dollar signs on them. We have them shoot them into a metal basket for dollars, and hula hoop's a really big one, but I keep getting stuck in it, so I can't do it very well. But anyway, we do chicken dances, and we give away things like you guys probably do too, all these things. Lots of different things. This is an accumulation of things over the past 5 years that we have done, and I hope it gives you a quick look into our culture and what we do.